It's the main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and you know him as 17-year NFL veteran, three-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys. And folks, we are 1 week away when Lions season ends. Well, at least NFL Lions season ends for a little bit. Your wife or husband or boyfriend or girlfriend, or your wife and girlfriend, they might continue to lie to you. But the NFL will settle down for a little bit. Dale Hellestrey, everybody.
Good morning, Stephen. How are you?
Good. I almost forgot I didn't say your name there. I was all getting into my wife, daughter, girlfriend thing.
Yeah, and then you were thinking, how deeper should you go?
It's 2026,
Father,
man.
son, mother, daughter.
You got to cover it all. It's 2026. It's a different time.
I don't know, Stephen. I'm in here floating on a Diamondback high.
That was a good game yesterday, man.
Hey, my goodness gracious. Seriously. The Diamondbacks, the new apple of my eye, out with the Suns. They'll lose tomorrow, put us out of our misery, and let's move on.
I did something I generally don't do. And yesterday when I was here, and then when I left here, I was listening to lots of local sports radio, which I know there's not a ton. But I was even listening to some national NBA stuff.
Yeah.
Man, the amount of people that have jumped off the Suns bandwagon by losing to Portland the other night is amazing.
Well, do you know that there's never been in the play-in era the 7th seed not making the playoffs?
Yeah, they've always won.
Yeah.
They've always made it. But some of them have been 8 seeds, but
yeah.
This isn't unprecedented. But it was amazing. Not only that though, Dale. The amount of people that are turning against Booker, that he isn't worth the money they're paying him. Not that he's not a good player, like you say he isn't.
No. I say he's a good player. He can't be your alpha.
Yeah, and I've always agreed with that. He needs somebody like a Chris Paul to help him out and lead him to that type of stuff.
Right.
You thought Kevin Durant would be that guy. He wasn't. You learn that.
Yeah.
There's nobody on the team now to do it. But you're paying that guy $40, $50 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about the other guys making that kind of money around the league. They're alphas.
Yes.
Even LeBron James today. I would still take him today over Devin Booker toward the end of a game.
Fourth quarters, I meant to send it to you last night. I was on Twitter, and somebody had a stat on him in the fourth quarter since All-Star break.
Oh, you should have sent that to me.
Disappointing when it's crunch time.
Was it points or what?
Well, it was all what he contributes in fourth quarters.
Well, turnover. A lot of turnovers.
Yes, yeah. and not enough points, and
that's the problem that I think people are starting to look at Devin Booker as is. Yeah, he's a great player. He's a great Phoenix Sun.
Yeah,
but he's not the $50 million a year player that he should be. Which I think people felt that way about Kevin Durant too here, right? He needs to be more of a leader because of that money and stuff like that. So I don't know. I found that it was an interesting experiment that I went through yesterday after the Diamondbacks game ended.
Yeah.
And I was just floored. I mean, guys that have just been diehard Devin Booker that I know and listened to in the past are even like, it might be time to trade the guy. Might be trying to trade and get something for him.
Well, that's the thing. Now, are you going to sit there and go? We can talk about this after tomorrow night, or at most they have 5 games left. Most more than likely they have 1 game left.
Yeah,
and then we can discuss all that nonsense.
Yes. But it was just an interesting because before Dale, even going into this year. Majority of everybody has been like the rarity of you saying what you say about Devin Booker is a rarity. It's changing now. I see the tides are changing after that game the other night. So we'll see. Now he's going to go out there and just dominate this game against the holy cow! I just forgot who won last night. Golden State.
Yeah.
Ooh. You see Steph last night. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Suns are losing this game. Steph's going to go off.
37 years old. No. Did you see Draymond Green?
Yeah. Oh, my God. Imagine the fist fight we're going to see Friday night between Green and Brooks. Oh, it's going to be amazing.
Anyway, I've been in the very, very, very small minority over the last year or two that have said, hey, Devin Booker is a really good player. He's not he's not your. He can't be your only guy.
And I felt that for the last few years. I realized that when CP3 left and Durant came in, that's when I started realizing Booker follows the guy that's supposed to be the leader of the team,
Right.
And that's fine if that's your style, but you don't get paid the amount of money you get paid. Those guys are the guys that get paid that alpha money and stuff like that. So Warrior Suns, and this is Dale. We're really into this. I mentioned this yesterday after you had left. The Warriors. Now, granted, they were without Steph for a good portion of the season and stuff like that, but 37-45 are the Warriors. They beat the Suns, and you're gonna have an 8 seed. You're gonna have a playoff team with 38 wins if they beat the Suns. That's disgusting. It should not be allowed.
Well, so again, do you just not allow a team like that to?
But you say that, but then on the other side, the Heat, who lost that 10 seed game, and they were the 10 seed, they were 43-39. That's a respectable record. You can see them being a playoff
Right.
team. So you can't say no 10 seeds because it's just the 10 seeds should forfeit if they're underneath 500. That's what it should be. You have to get the 10 seed to play on, and you have to be above 500. Otherwise, you're just the regular 10 seed, and you don't get to play in the play-in. It bothers. Can you imagine? An NBA team could be an 8 seed at 37-45. What? It's dumb. It's ridiculous.
Well, we will actually see what happens tomorrow night.
I know the Magic beat the Sixers. I had a feeling the Magic were going to beat the Sixers, but the Magics have had some bad games lately as well. So it's Magic Hornets coming up on the east side. LaMelo Ball's going to play a lot better. He's 50 grand lighter. And actually chimes in on at TME Sports Show. Hit us up on, of course, text line 623-252-6670 or on X as well. And chimes in and says, my son wants to know, where does the player fine money go? She's talking specifically LaMelo Ball's recent fine there. And I think, wasn't it $50,000? It was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you didn't see it, he fell to the ground, grabbed a back of his heel, and swept the leg with it, and then claimed, I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident.
Right.
Dirtiest play ever for that. And then Bam was out the rest of the game, which he's a big piece of the Miami Heat.
No doubt.
NBA, I looked it up to make sure I was sure of it. It goes to charity. In every league, fine money goes to charity.
Yes.
But I wanted to be a little bit more specific on that, so I did look it up. It gets split equally between the NBA and the National Basketball Players Association Foundation. Then the NBA, and then they choose which charity that it goes to, nonprofit organizations it goes to. It's like the NFL, it goes to the the NFL charities, and then they decipher it. So in the NBA, they split it between the PA and the regular NBA, and they do what they want to do with it as well. So
yeah, it does not. I think a lot of people think it goes to the league itself and just goes into their coffers. And
yeah, well, here's the catch though. This is why I wanted to look up here. In the NBA, players with at least 3 years of experience in the NBA can request matching grants up to $25,000 per fiscal year for their own charities. Like LaMelo Ball got fined $50,000. It gets split between the NBA and the NBA PA. And if he has one of those in there, he can make $25,000 of that back for his charity.
Well, I will tell you this, as a guy who does have one of those charities, they do keep and obviously I'm not in that league, but they do keep a very close eye.
Yeah, but there's a lot of charities that they give to charity, but
yes.
90 cents of every dollar goes to the organization and the owner, the head guy or whatever. That's why I'm being a little like that shouldn't be allowed to.
Right.
That all of that money needs to go to a charity. So if it does go to a player charity, they need to account for, okay, where did you send it to? You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, 90 cents of every dollar could go back to the who runs the charity.
Or if you got
and
a
it's
mom
legal to do. That's the
or
thing. It's legal to do. That's the disappointing part of it.
got a mom or a wife running the charity.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just pay attention to your politics today and see what's happening in those worlds with that stuff as well. So that's where the money goes to. as well for charitable use, which also bothers me. Who gets the charity write-off? The NBA and the NBAPA? Because if the players are fined,
Yeah, they don't get a tax
they don't
write-off
get
for
a tax
that.
write-off.
You're getting fined.
That's like that's like when you go to the store and they go, "Do you want to round up for this charity?" It's like, no, I'm not giving you a tax write-off off of my 50 cents roundup. I'll give directly for my tax write-off.
And so you go home, you write a 50-cent check.
50-cent check.
That's why it's taking you so long to do your taxes. 50 cents here.
It's a lot.
There.
I write checks that aren't worth the check it's written on. And the best part is I do bill pay. So then the bank has to process it, send a check out via mail. It has to go get a stamp to put on that to send it out and everything. Oh, yeah.
The stamp costs more than 50 cents now.
I'm just raking up the fees here and everything to get it out to these guys. But, yeah, so that's where the charity money goes. So everybody knows out there. That's a hefty fine there, of course, for that. So Robert says, worst thing NBA ever did was the max player. I don't know. You watching the WNBA right now? Robert says more, but the W is now having max players.
Yeah.
It's coming, folks, right? He says they ain't but 2 or 3 guys deserving the max money. He said, with that, if SGA put up the shot that Booker did in the last minute, he would have been shooting free throws. Okay, Robert, I know Robert. Robert put some of that onus on the officials. Okay, and I agree with you to a certain extent, Robert. Booker does not get the respect a superstar in the league does.
Certain superstars.
Certain ones. Absolutely. You're 100% correct. I don't know how you change it. But you know that. Booker knows that. So play the game. Adjust your game to go to it. I don't know how else to fix it. I agree with you. I'm not going to say referees cost the Suns games. But I will 100% go to the grave with you fighting that Booker gets disrespected in this league. Period. End of story. I agree 100%. How you fixing it, though? There's a reason for that. There's a reason SGA gets calls that Booker doesn't. What is it?
He's an MVP.
But he wasn't when he started getting them. He was getting him that first MVP year when he kind of like broke out where everybody started to know who he was.
Well,
Steph Curry got those calls early in his career. Booker's never gotten them.
Well, see, but again, I don't think you can say that because 2 games ago, Devin Booker shot 15 free throws. He shot more than whoever they were playing on the other team.
Well, no, because it goes back like the Shaq thing, right? Shaq used to get just the crap beat out of him. It took a lot to get fouls.
Right, because refs would go, you're so big and strong.
Yeah, like, you could deal with it.
Okay, so you can hit me in the face?
Yeah. And he would have to deal with it. He had to learn to play with it. But I don't know. It's. You want to know what I think it is? I don't think Booker's liked well in the league. Not like he's negative or bad or anything like that. I just think he's easy to ignore. Put it that way. Something about him where refs aren't like, I'm not helping you out.
Well, could it be because he's a calmer Bobby Hurley? There's not many plays that go by where you don't see him saying something to an official. Now he's not antics and throwing his jacket off like Bobby Hurley.
No, but like his technical and I forget which game it is now, like 3 or 4 games before the end of the season, where he's saying the stuff and the ref's letting him say it. He turns around to walk off, says one last thing as he's walking off, and the ref tees him up. You don't have to do that, my man. But then you had that guy on Portland the other night screaming at a referee right there, complaining about not getting a foul, and the ref's just like, all right, have a good day.
I was watching that part of the game with Big Scotty, and we were both like, how on earth did he not? Because Dylan Brooks got teed up for Clappy.
I know.
I'm the sarcastic kind of Clappy, but still, it's Clappy. He wasn't even saying anything.
But how many guys do that and don't get teed up? How many guys tell refs how bad their calls are and how terrible they are, and the refs are like, oh, thank you. Have a good night. Can I get your autograph after the game? So there's something about that. But you got to adjust, man.
And we can obviously talk more about this tomorrow because if Devin Devin goes out tomorrow night and the Suns lose and he struggles in the fourth quarter again, that's that crowd's gonna start growing this offseason.
This isn't what I get. What I get out of what I was saying earlier when I was just listening to stuff. It's not just the media shifting, people with voices shifting. I'm feeling a city shifting.
You mean fan base kind of? Yeah.
Where, I don't think you should go trade Booker. I'm like, you should keep him, whatever. But then you go, but he ain't worth $50 million a year.
Well, so then begs the next question,
that's
Steve.
The problem. You go back and forth.
Well, what could you get back for him?
So I think if he has another bad game Friday night, you're going to see a lot of people start to go, love him. He's an all-time Sun, but it's not worth that money. Yeah. That's the problem with these large contracts. You never got that way with like Larry Fitzgerald. I know we're switching sports. But Larry made a lot of money, but his production was always. But even at the end, when it kind of faltered a little bit, you never once went, Larry's making too much. You're like, one more year, Larry. Come back.
Here's the other issue with the Suns, and I forgot somebody did a tweet, and I responded to it. And I said, I forget who it was, but I said it's the change in expectations. The fast start. I think everybody came into the season. The Suns would have won between 35 and 40 games. Everybody gone, hey, it's improvement, build for next year, blah, blah, blah. But all of a sudden, they got off to that fast start. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, talk is about, they could get the 4th seed, the 5th seed.
Before those injuries? Yeah. We were sitting there going, they'll be a 6 seed easy.
But because you completely forget.
They'll pass these guys.
You completely forget about November when you're going, yeah, gosh, if they win 40 games, I win my bet. And that's pretty good.
I mean, the expectation change, which I agree with you 100%. But that's where I kind of I sit back and I go, the Suns playing as they are right now is what I expect them to be all year.
Yes.
And I thought they'd get to the play-in game, but they'd be a 9 or 10 seed. So we're just talking a few games off here. It's not like I'm talking about, they won 15 more games than I thought they would and things like that. To get to the 10 seed, the Warriors had 37 wins. Suns had 45. So we're talking 8 games. So at the beginning of the year, I was like, oh, man, Suns get to 37, 39, 40. They could be a 9 or 10 seed, and then just see what happens. So they're actually better than what we thought they were. It's just, so I don't know if it's the way they played early. It is. The way they played early changed our expectations. But then now I'm trying to convince myself of, nope, this is the Suns team you thought you were going to see all year. But then it's disappointing because of how they start. Yeah, that's the problem. If they would have started like they are now and finished like they began, oh, my God, we'd all be on a high horse right now. Driving around, booking victory parades downtown and all that stuff, what we'd be doing. Hey, Robert says you should change your charity to an NGO. He goes, nobody looks at those. Yeah, you ever think about starting a daycare center with that charity operation?
Oh.
Ba-da-ba. Ding. That's as political as we get on this show right there. Little jabs like that. Ooh. You have your awards thing this weekend, right? Saturday?
Yeah.
Brad Setzmat. It's Brad Setzmat puts it on, right?
Wow, he's always the MC. Okay. It's the National Football Foundation.
Yeah, but so he's just. I thought he was like a big part of it, but so he's the MC or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So that'll be good. Do you know who's getting your? You want to announce it here? Just kidding.
I'll try and find out by tomorrow.
Don't you dare announce it here before. Do they know in advance?
I think they know.
They do know, so they know in advance. So they're not just like, what?
Right.
Okay, so they are told ahead of time. All right. That'd be great. If you're announcing.
So I just pulled, sorry I was distracted. I was pulling up the Suns' record by month.
Yeah, we're used to it.
October, they started off 2-4.
Yeah, that's right. They did start bad, yeah.
And then they went 10-5 in November, 7-5 December, 11-5 in January.
And December was a hard schedule, if I remember right.
And 11-5 in January. Since then, February 4-7, March 8-8.
Schedule was a little harder.
April 3-3.
Yeah. Oh, they were. Remember, We were like, oh, they got to win these easy games here to keep going and compete for that 6 seed. And then they were like losing to the Bulls,
Right.
losing to the Bucks, and you're just like, what is happening right now?
So again, that really unexpected fast start, and I think it happens in every sport to every team with local fans and media. That if a team exceeds expectations early in the season, then your expectations change.
Well, that should be the way it goes. Why wouldn't it? Wasn't like they had 1 month of really good, and you're like, yeah, they only had 1 month. That was 3 months of good basketball.
Yeah, and they were fun. A fun team to watch. They look like they play with joy. Now, that's something else a buddy of mine brought up. I don't see the same joy in this team. And I know you remember, I remarked about it a number of times early in the season, how much fun this team was to watch.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way anymore.
No, but because even like late in the season, they like Green broke that one guy's ankles, and he was like laying on the ground, and everybody's laughing. Like the whole bench stood up, I was laughing at him. And I was like, oh, there's what Dale's talking about. And then you don't see it anymore after that.
No.
Yeah, it can't be a locker room thing again, can it? Just tiredness. I just think the Suns got tired as the season went on. And injured.
Or then there's that age-old thing of, hey, the teams that are going to be in the thick of things at the end, they start off slow, and they start playing in January, February.
Well, the length showed up. I think that's definitely true. The length of other teams showed up. I always joke around about this, but like, doesn't matter who you substitute with the Suns. It's just the same guy comes back in.
Somewhere between 6'6" and 6'8".
And then watch Portland, man. They substituted a guy. I was like a whole different guy that would come in with a different skill set that could do it and stuff, And I was just that hit me like a load of bricks the other night in that Portland game. Hey, before you take off today, though, I do want to bring this up because, folks, I read between the lines.
Uh-oh.
When the Financial Times, awful announcing, the Financial Times, Front Office Sports, Wall Street Journal, all report the PIF's funding is about to be pulled from LIV. Folks, I got news for you. It's coming.
That's a lot of smoke for there not be a little fire somewhere.
Yes. Yeah, it was just one guy, one reporter, and then Chambly, the golf reporter for the tour who hates LIV, reporting on it and speculating. No, we got big dogs report. I spent yesterday, while the Diamondbacks game was on here, I spent like 2 hours just reading article after article from big publications about how they're being told the funding's about to be pulled. Now they're saying it's gone because they have Mexico this weekend and stuff like that. I don't think it's going to be Tuesday we're done. It'll be a slow, gradual shutdown.
It's so funny you say that because I was part of that new startup league here. There's an Arizona team. I already forgot the name.
Not the
of the
UFL,
league.
but they're the Wranglers or something.
No, they were Hot Shots.
Hot Shots.
Arizona Hot Shots.
Yes.
And I was part of that, and it was fascinating. I was helping coach and doing the games.
So you were calling the games too, right?
And all of a sudden, 1 week, murmurs started going around.
I remember, yeah.
Hey, money's kind of drying up. Hey, you better have plans. And literally, they play the weekend. All of a sudden, we don't know if there's going to be a plane to get us. So I think we were in Memphis. Don't know if the plane's going to be here to get us.
I remember that. It was players might have to find their own way back home.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
You show up Monday for meetings, and guess what? League is shut down. and so I've been a part of it. Obviously, it wasn't like I was making $500,000 and went, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to live.
Exactly.
But,
oh no, what do I do?
But when you start hearing this kind of stuff, I do feel it's going to be one of those things that they'll play in Mexico this week.
Yeah, and then Monday, Tuesday, we're done.
And then Monday, Tuesday, is there more rumors or more smoke?
Here's the difference between the LIV situation and like that, whatever that league was. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
UFL or AAFL. It was something like that. But the difference between that is these golfers have bona fide stuck contracts. And there is such thing as they have the money to fight this stuff. And it's not like the PIF doesn't have money where they're shutting down. They're just shutting down Live Golf.
But how are you going to sue somebody in Saudi Arabia?
Here's my point, though. I was reading yesterday. U.S. doesn't necessarily have these laws, but there are laws in European countries and places like that where you can bring lawsuits like that of breach of financial obligations and stuff like that. So this might be a gradual slowdown, or they just shut it down and they just pay off the golfers and go away. Here's your contract amount. But this is a bigger, from what I was reading. I'm not the expert on that,
Right.
but from what I was reading yesterday, golfers will have a big say in how this gets shut down because of their contracts, the way they're worded, and things to that effect. And stuff like that.
I just can't imagine suing Saudi Arabia, the PIF, and trial starts next Thursday over here in Saudi Arabia.
Bryson DeChambeau, what is he going to do for the rest of the golf season? He can go to the DP World Tour. Well, that's the other side of it. The PIF, the way I envision it going, and like I said, I'm not an expert, but just from what I was reading yesterday, PIF says we're pulling our funding. We're going to pull our funding on this date. You go merge with the DP World Tour. DP World Tour either pays a little bit to buy the assets, meaning the golfers and stuff, and then they absorb the golfers into that so they can keep playing. And then Live just disappears in that entity over time, type of a thing. I think that's going to be more than just shut down. From what I was reading, like I said, I'm not the genius on this. From what I was reading, there's a little bit of golfers might have a long. I mean, the PIF doesn't want to be stuck in long-term lawsuits over this stuff.
Do you think they care?
No.
I don't know anybody in the PIF or whatever, but do they care?
No, they don't care what their image is. Here's the other thing. I told everybody this all along. You and I weren't partners. We were at the same radio station. But when the Live started, I go, this PIF fund, they owned F1 at one time. They bought F1 because they wanted. What they do is they want to force their way into a league and whitewash what they've done in life and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They did F1. They lost billions of dollars over several years at F1, and then one day they went, "Yeah, we're not doing this anymore." I don't care how much money you have. At some point, the losses you go. Billionaires shut down companies all the time. They can afford to let companies struggle and not make money, and it's a tax write-off to them. The reason why billionaires shut down companies is because they're like, it ain't worth it anymore. Just get rid of it. You get tired of losing stuff at times, even if it doesn't hurt you at all.
It will be fascinating to see how that all works itself out.
But all I'm saying on this is yesterday was one rumor, and I told you guys all the reading I had done, and apparently they didn't miss a payment to the players. Interesting enough, but they missed a payment to a couple entities that they're playing golf in. That's what they do.
Okay.
Then on top of it, when they do a tournament, like they're playing in Mexico this weekend, and they say it's going on, they're already getting the golfers there and all of that stuff. They're there all week. The executives that met in New York yesterday should have been in Mexico getting ready for that tournament. Then they always have a media place there when they go to a golf thing, and it's open all week long. It was shut down Monday and Tuesday. They said that something was broken and we couldn't operate. Okay. Sure. They weren't paying the media people to go and set up the media office so people can get down there and hype it up down there and stuff like that. The other bad thing about this, Dale, is when rumors like this start. Like, I just did a story on McCollum on Business this morning about Spirit Airlines. They've been in and out of bankruptcy, and now oil prices. Now people are saying they're going to be liquidated in the next couple of days. You know what happens when that stuff comes out? Not one person today is logging in and buying a Spirit Airways flight anytime soon.
No.
How many people aren't buying Live Mexico tickets or wherever their next tournament is and that stuff? I'm not buying a ticket if they're going to go out of business.
Right.
I'm not doing that. That's the other thing that a sponsor isn't going to go. I'm not. You know what? Hold on to that sponsor check that's due on Monday.
Yeah.
Let's hold on to that for a minute or two before we pay that to them.
Well, and again,
that stuff happens, and it hurt. That's why you go downhill quick when these rumors start.
In my personal life, with my wife and other daughter were throwing a baby shower for Hillary, and they found this place downtown Scottsdale. It was cute and fluffy and whatever girls like. And
to do it at?
And what's that?
To do it at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they put down a $500 deposit. Then all of a sudden, Kendall saw something on social
A
media
little blip.
that this place was about to shut down.
Yeah.
And so I immediately went to the credit card, cancel payment,
Yeah.
and got our money back.
Yeah.
But there'll be people that don't.
Yeah. Well, people either don't see it or they trust it or whatever. Like, oh, they'll be open or whatever.
We'll pay you back.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to fight tooth and nail to get your money
Yes.
back on that stuff. But that's actually where the damage can happen the most. Like I said, like Spirit Airlines is a perfect example.
Yep.
Not one person today is seeing that story and going, you know what? I'm going to book a flight on Spirit for a month from now.
Yeah. 6 weeks from now, Spirit will be soaring along.
Their bookings are going to go nuts. And how many people are canceling their flights today
Right.
to make sure they get their refund and stuff like that? That's where the danger is. But when big entities, Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, Front Office Sports, and they were all different stories with, I'm sure there was some overlap on sources, but they all had different themes to them. Yeah. It's just a matter of how it's going to happen now, Dale. But Live Golf is going to go away here.
Now, again, I don't know how many people are going to cancel Spirit tickets because I know that your audience is much more.
No.
They're not flying
my people
Spirit.
aren't. You people aren't flying Spirit.
No,
I'm talking about everybody else.
No, there's nobody watching a financial show that is going,
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to go to the Caribbean and fly Spirit.
Yeah, no, you're right. But that's what I'm saying though. Like somebody's like on their way to work, right? And they're like, "Oh, I'm visiting my parents and whatever, Fort Lauderdale, and I got this $59 fare in Spirit, and I leave at the end of May." They're going to see that today and go, time to either cancel that trip and find another airline, or
I got a $59 ticket. Oh yeah, it's a $50 if you check a bag. It's $10 for water.
do you want to breathe air?
It's yeah. You want more than a toilet seat to sit on? Oh, that's $100.
Seriously, I'm like, just pay the extra. Man. Just pay the extra. I did that one time when they started charging for bag fees. American, I flew them all the time, and I was like, for when I did personal trips, I'd be like, I ain't paying $25 for a bag fee. That's stupid. I refuse to do it. Dale, one time I packed my clothes up and all my stuff, and I put them in a box, and I FedExed it to my destination.
So you paid more than $25.
Spent $72 a week out.
You showed American.
And I got to the hotel, and it was sitting there, and I unboxed it, and then this is the best part. Then I had to go find another FedEx place to ship it back. It was $72 for the whole thing. But just think of the time I spent.
Yes.
I did it once, and I'm like, $25 doesn't sound that bad.
No.
And then I flew enough to where they'd waive it for me and stuff. Yeah. But it was so funny.
You pay for the convenience.
You're just finding a FedEx place or UPS place to ship it. And then you did it ground, so I had to do it like a week and a half in advance. And then it shipped back. I was without a bunch of stuff.
All for $25.
Yeah, just to save $50 round trip at the time. Just telling you, Dale, it's different. Hey, Dale's going to take off. Go over to Holmberg's Morning Sickness. What comedian are you going to be on with today?
I have no idea. It's always interesting when I get in the car and turn them on to see who's in there. Sometimes there's not even anybody in there.
I saw they did drug testing with a Phoenix police officer the other day where you stand. So just be careful. There might be some meth or fentanyl or something on that desk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw a social media clip put up on it and everything.
Okay.
So just be careful. They might be setting you up.
Well, we'll try and get your name mentioned a few times, Steve.
I'll see you back here later. For another, we do the sports Scott. We produce the sports show there with Dale.
It's a sports thing.
Angry, yeah, that's what it's called. With Holmberg, Dale, and we recorded. They put it out. We sent it to them, but we recorded for them and stuff. So all part of the fun. Hey, don't piss off the neighbors out there, would you?
That's a story for tomorrow.
Come on
Nothing
back,
like pulling into the parking lot and seeing old Steve out there barking at somebody.
I wasn't barking at him. I was having a civil
I saw a little
conversation.
smile on Steve and said, okay. But I figured I'm getting out. We're getting in a fight.
Yeah.
And
would you have backed me up?
Oh, I would have
If we
backed
had to start swinging?
I'd have backed you up, and then if you'd have told me what you did to start it, then I'd be mad.
Yeah, but you defend me first.
Yes.
And then get mad at
Yes.
me. All right, that's the type of guy Dale is, folks. It wasn't. I'll tell you. It wasn't a bad conversation. But somebody's complaining about Dale's parking job out there. Hey, come on back, folks. Uncle Luke coming up at 9. I'll get you going until then. See you in a minute, folks. And we're back here. Main event. Dale takes off, hits off. AUPD this morning does the hit over there. Hey, I appreciate everybody that does watch our stuff on demand as well later on in the day. Coming over from, of course, Dale being over there. And you see his shiny little personality over there with the Brett and those boys and John over there. Then they're coming over here doing their sports show. They usually do it earlier in the week. They pushed it till Thursday this week. We produce it, which is why you should follow TME Media AZ on X. That's the parent company of the media company that we do here with me, Kobe, Ethan, and Riley. And, we do a lot of stuff. We do several shows here that we don't actually put out. We produce them and then give them to other entities to put them out there. And that's one of them, the sports thing as well. So it's fun to do. It's fun to have those guys come on by and everything. And that's later on, though, as well. Uncle Lou's coming up at 9 o'clock. As well. And then, of course, don't forget TME Media AZ on YouTube, TME Media, so rumble.com/user/TME Media. All of our programming's on Rumble as well, all of it, including the Real Matrix. On YouTube, Real Matrix isn't on there. They kind of restrict that a little bit. We have some ideas here to get some highlights up for you on the YouTube that won't get banned over there. But all the other programming's up there on YouTube as well. So TME Media AZ there on YouTube, rumble.com/user/TME Media on Rumble for those of you that refuse to go to YouTube. I understand it. Trust me, I understand it and things. So just giving you more options for you to share with your friends. Tell your friends about us. Whatever show you want. McCollum on Business is up there. Should be up right now as it's been uploaded, hopefully. If not, it'll be really here shortly as well. So... it's always a good time around here. And before Luke comes in, let's talk a little baseball coming up as well. And let me just load up here. My computer didn't update last night. If I may complain about something for a minute here. I know you guys are going, what, Steve? Complain? Yeah, so my computer didn't update last night, which means it shut down all of, my tabs and everything. And then it's like, all right, I got to load everything up. And you forget how to do it. You're like, oh, what? Like yesterday, watching the Diamondbacks game, I saw some other stories out there, and I opened up those tabs. I was like, oh, this will be good for tomorrow. All closed down now and everything. I usually save them in a Google Docs file, but, of course, yesterday I didn't and everything. So I have to reload everything up and do all that. So, like I said, personal gripe of mine, updates on computers when you're not ready for them to be done. You know what I'm saying? Quit being annoying. I did see, just really quick, other news out there. NFL and YouTube, they've entered advanced talks for a contract review for a 5-game package for them. You're going to see more YouTube games coming up here. And then I saw yesterday or the day before, Sunday Night Football might not be on NBC moving forward with this contract renegotiation as well. These contracts do not expire until 2030, beginning of the 2030 years. We're 4 years, 5 years away from the current contracts expiring. In the NFL, there's a clause in there where the NFL is able to trigger it earlier because of the value for the NFL is bigger and they can get more money for it. So they're triggering that now. The CBS or Paramount one is different because they do have a clause in all of these contracts that if an ownership change happens, they can trigger the contract. That's what's going on with CBS and Paramount because CBS, of course, was bought out by Paramount Plus and Paramount, I should say, and Skydance. So CBS had an ownership change, so that one triggered on that clause. But now they're going back to NBC and those guys, and of course, it's interesting times with the NFL just more and more money going their way. Yesterday, Diamondbacks. Look, this was a fantastic day game, right? I love watching baseball. Started at 9:30 our time. Orioles are a really good team. Going into this series, Orioles had they were number one there in the AL East, at least up there in that rank. Well, now they're third in the AL East. Tampa Bay Rays 10-7. New York Yankees 10-8, and then the Baltimore Orioles 9-9 here after this Diamondback series for them. Of course, Diamondbacks won 2 out of 3. Blue Jays, which are coming into town, Diamondbacks are off today. Blue Jays coming to town starting tomorrow for the weekend. Blue Jays are actually fourth in that division, 7-10 for them. So it's not like the schedule is getting easier for the Diamondbacks moving forward as well, but go back to yesterday as well. Ketel Marte was the DH yesterday, right? It was scratched the day before with back soreness. I kind of, before they put the lineups up yesterday, I was kind of talking about Gabriel Moreno had the same thing. Now he's a catcher. It's a little bit different. Now he's on IR. So I was like, Ketel Marte, watch him. Well, they put him in as DH yesterday. Ended up going 1 for 5 yesterday. His batting average is up to 211, by the way, for Marte on that list as well. Carroll's doing his standard what he's doing out there. Perdomo, though, man, 194 for him now. Went 1 for 4 yesterday for Perdomo. He hits the ball hard when he gets contact, but did you see him? It's all bad for Perdomo right now. Did you see him overrun third or overslide third base? Get tagged out when he would have been safe if he would have stayed on the bag, and he overslid it, got tagged out. That when things aren't going right for you in baseball, it's not going right for you, right? Is what you're looking at from that side. Fernandez, I told you, needs to be in this game at all times. 1 for 5 yesterday for him, batting 306. His OPS base percentage 7.75 for him as well. He is not the leader on the Diamondbacks. I know Vargas is ahead of him, and I'm pretty sure Carroll is also. Other than that, he's one of the leaders there as we're going from that side. Del Castillo, I think, is close to a 1 OPS also. But Del Castillo obviously started the season on the IL. Doesn't have, you know what? He probably has the same amount of at-bats as Fernandez, right? Fernandez called up. See, I get confused on that stuff. But Del Castillo's in that same type of a level as well as of right now. Eduardo Rodriguez, Erod, wasn't the dominant pitcher he was the first 2 games. Struggled to find the plate there for a little bit. Ended up giving a 4 earned runs yesterday. His ERA went to a whole whopping 1.96 yesterday as well. 5 innings, 4 earned runs. Man, I don't know why they kept pitching to Jackson yesterday. Holy crap. Stop pitching to Jackson. I was on fire. Kept doing it, though. But I thought Erod, right? Got to the 5th inning, and then the bullpen came in. Ginkel came in for 2 innings. Clark came in. Ryan Thompson came in. And then Murillo actually finished out that game. 8-5 for them as well going into this. 1 inning for Murillo coming into that game as well. So, look, it's just this team's rocking and rolling right now. Off day today, coming back to Phoenix. Blue Jays this weekend. If you're not watching the Diamondbacks yet, or you're still kind of holding your breath because of your expectations, You just let it go a little bit, folks. They're doing all right. They're doing better than all right. Will it continue? I'm not going to promise you that. Starting pitching is worth watching on this team. The bats are usually worth watching on this team. Yeah, they've had some bad blowouts against them going into these, but they're winning series 2 out of 3. They're fun games as well. This game was close till the Diamondbacks broke it open. Of course, got to that 10th inning, 5-5. Got to that 10th inning, they scored 3 runs to make it that 8-5 victory for them as well, for them. One team would take the lead, the other team would come back. Kind of what you expect from two good teams. One team would take the lead, the other team would come back. Like Orioles were up 1-0. D-backs were up 2-1. D-backs were then up 3-2. Then the Orioles home run, right? So then it's 4-3 in that point. Then the Diamondbacks score a run, 5-3, 6-3. I'm sorry, 5-3. Then it's 5-5 at that point. They're in the 7th, and then of course the extra innings into the 10th. Team's fun. Team's good to watch. And they're playing good quality, talented teams as well. So it's not like they're beating up the lonely teams in the in the standings and things like the White Sox. They're not beating the White Sox up where you can go out there and go through the motions and beat the White Sox. They're not doing that at all. Just some quick around baseball things that caught my eye yesterday. If you're not following what's happening all around baseball, some alarming things. It's early. Don't get me wrong. It is early. I get it. There's some question marks. Are the San Francisco Giants going to wake up? I think first-year coach from the college ranks, I think is kind of the issue here with the Giants right now. Giants are 3-7 at home, 3-5 and away. They're in 4th place in this division at 6-12. Are the Giants going to be able to turn it around in this division and give that 2nd and 3rd place spots a little bit of a challenge? I'm not so sure. I know it's early, but at least early it's hard to tell, right? Chicago Cubs are 9-9. Milwaukee Brewers are 9-8. The Cardinals, who sold off, are 10-8. Pittsburgh Pirates are 11-7. Cincinnati Reds 11-7. I do think the Reds are going to play for a playoff berth this year. Cardinals and Pirates aren't supposed to. The two leaders there in that division. Do the Brewers and Cubs wake up? How soon do the Cardinals kind of fall backwards with their lack of talent, with their sell-off and stuff like that? Do the Pirates start to fall back a little bit, or do they stay competitive? But do the Brewers and Cubs wake up at all in this division? I know it's early, kind of surprising. But to me, the biggest surprise all around the National League right now, the NL. What's happening to the New York Mets? I get it. I get it. Their high-priced player is out for another week or so. Juan Soto, I get it. They have talent everywhere, and they're only 7-12 on the season. They're playing the Cubs here coming up this weekend. So it's going to be interesting to see, right? Cubs and Mets. But 7-12 with the, 2nd or 3rd most payroll in Major League Baseball? Not a good start. This is one of those starts for a team at that level where you expect them to wake up. You're also quite not sure if they're going to be able to. Miami Marlins are 9-10 right now overall. Yeah, they're ahead of the Phillies. Some upside downness, right? Then you can go to the AL West, which by far I think is the hardest division in baseball right now to start the season. Who had the Seattle Mariners in second to last, tied for last with the Astros at 8-11? Who did? Doesn't everybody? I had the Mariners winning that division. Doesn't everybody? Are they going to be able to rebound and get back up there? Like I said, it's early. Yes, there's plenty of time, but these are alarming starts for these teams. The Athletics have a bunch of talent, folks. Just young talent. They have one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. Just gets hidden. Starting pitchers just gets hidden there in Sacramento. They're 10-8 leading that division. They will be competitive. I expect them to fall off as the season goes on because their owner does not want to win. But what's up with the Mariners? What's up with the Astros? I do expect to go backwards. But what's up with the Mariners? Do they wake up this year? Some surprising things. Detroit Tigers are 9-9 now. Only a couple games back behind the Twins. But the Twins sold off last year. Now they're 11-8 at the beginning of this season. Guardians, lowest payroll in baseball, or second lowest, $63 million, right there in second place at 10-9 going into this season. The Tigers 9-9. Tigers will wake up. They will be there as the season goes on. Their starting pitching isn't going to allow them to not be good there as well for them when they get there at the end, right? Boston Red Sox, I know a lot of people were high on them this year. This isn't a surprise to me that they're in last place. It's only a surprise because the Rays were expected to be bad this year, and they're leading the division right now. But the Blue Jays, 7-10 to start their season, coming into town to play the Diamondbacks. How do they come out? Yankees, Orioles, I think, are doing what everybody expects them to do out there. But Rays, a big surprise. It's too hard of a poll question to put out and things like that. But as you look at this, like I said, it's early. We're a month into the season, 3 weeks into the season. What's the biggest surprise, and who do you think isn't going to wake up? Who's just going to struggle all year? My vote on that, and I guess I don't consider and I'm not going to put the Astros in that in my group, because my vote on that isn't the Astros. I think the Astros are going to suffer this year regardless. They were going to take multiple steps back. Doesn't mean they're not going to make the playoffs, for instance, but I do think they're going to struggle a little bit. I did think the Brewers were going to take some steps back this year. I have the Cubs winning that division. I have the Detroit Tigers winning that division. I do think the Tigers will get there at the end. And I'm not saying the Mets are going to finish in last place. Right now they're 7-12, last place in that division. I do think, though, the Mets, they're going to be lucky to get the second wild card this year. I think the Mets, to me, are the team that they're going to have success. They're going to move up the ranks and stuff. They're probably going to be in the conversation for the playoffs at the end of the year, But I think they're going to struggle to get that second wild card or third wild card, whatever it is, the last wild card game. I think the Mets are going to struggle with that, to be honest with you. So, for me, what do you do if they're their owner, right? You can only fire the manager so much. You can only, get high-profile players as much as you can. Your payroll's through the roof, like the Dodgers. You're just not converting it to wins. It's an interesting dynamic from the Dodgers, who have all that payroll and win, and the Mets that have all that payroll and just can't get there. I think the Mets are going to be a team that struggles all year. I could be wrong. Maybe they go on a tear and run away with that division. I just don't think they're going to run away with that division. I don't at all. It's going to be interesting to see as well. We got Uncle Lou coming up here, top of the hour as well. Hey, Kobe, in my ears, is Lou here yet? Perfect. Not here yet. Great. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe he's having parking problems out there. I'll wait till you hear this story. We got somebody complaining about parking. How many cars we have here? So it's pretty funny yesterday. So we'll see what comes out of that. That's what I was referring to with Dale earlier. It's not a big deal. You just always have sourpusses around and things to that effect. You got to deal with out there, right? You just smile, wave. Move on with your day as well. We talked with Dale about Live. The rumor is I don't know if it's a rumor anymore, but the Saudi Arabia's Wealth Fund, that PIF, is on the verge of cutting funding for Live Golf. They are in Mexico starting today. That tour is going on like normal. Like I told you, there are some intricacies differences down there in Mexico. The media portion of it, that room that they have that opens up all week to promote Live Golf, closed for the first couple days, at least one day, maybe two. They said some things were broken and they couldn't be up and running, right? But timing's a little suspect. So that is something to watch. My question is this: whether the Live Tour gets absorbed by the DP Tour. Maybe this is where they kind of go into a merger with the PGA Tour. Maybe a deal's finally worked out here just to kind of dissolve the Live Tour. And that could be one way where you, quote unquote, welcome back those golfers. I don't know if that's even possible anymore. But worst case, Live will get dissolved in the DP and stuff like that. The interesting thing there to watch is Does the PGA Tour kind of just resort back to its laurels then? We start to see it way the what it was before that was exposed by Live Golf. I said this before, and I know those of you that have been on this journey with me since the radio days and before that with the podcast days, back in the day from my house. Um, when Live Golf started, the whole point was they came in with this anti-establishment attitude. We're gonna fight the system. We're gonna buy the system. And a lot of people, well, one, don't like Saudi Arabia trying to do that, right? Whitewash what they've done, killing journalists and stuff like that. So a lot of people didn't like that side. But they came in with such an adversarial relationship where they were going to buy the best players, get them to switch over. They're going to revolutionize the game of golf with shorts and 3-day rounds and all of that stuff. And I always said at that time, I said, one, they're going to pull the funding at some point. They're not going to absorb losses. They need to make money. And if they don't, they're going to pull the funding at some point. We might be to that point now. But I always have believed that if Live Golf or an entity like Live Golf came in and they just came in and basically did what the PGA Tour does, but better, you would have naturally have won that battle with the PGA Tour, and you wouldn't have had this adversarial effect with it. I think that's where Live Golf messed up, even if they don't go away like it's being reported. I think that's where they messed up. You come in with a fighting motif, you just turn a lot of longtime people off from that side. So we'll keep our eyes on it, of course, as we move forward as well out there. So Tigers shortstop Kevin McGonigal, he signed an 8-year, $150 million extension. Why is that exciting for him? Only 17 games into his whole Major League Baseball career, folks. Yeah. The Diamondbacks did that with Connor, not Connor, not Corbin Burns. Jeez. The center fielder, I just completely forgot his name. Corbin Carroll. Jeez, sorry about that, folks. They did that with him years ago, right? Coming up, they signed with that long extension. They got him for quote unquote cheaper and longer term, and he gave up some arbitration years and stuff. But he becomes a free agent in the mind of his career. You're seeing more teams do that, right? Mariners just did that with their shortstop. Pirates with that 19-year-old Connor Griffin. They just did that with him. And now Kevin McGonigal signed that 8-year, $150 million extension. 17 games into his career, you're going to start seeing that in Major League Baseball with these young stars out there as well from that. Just the last thing I got to say is NBC viewership numbers, right? We know the salary cap for the NBA is going down. Regional money, local money is down in terms of advertising for the NBA, which is one reason why the salary cap's going backwards $1 million or so next year projected. We have numbers here. 170 million people in the U.S. watch NBA games this season. Now, this is year one of those new deals. NBC, the streaming networks, stuff like that. That's an 86% increase over last season. Highest regular season viewership in 24 years as well for the NBA. Now, with this package, right, TNT was, for me at least, was a hard channel to watch. Obviously, moving to NBC makes it a lot easier. Then you're on prime time on those nights where it was on NBC. So that can help drive those ratings up. But don't fall into that gap where everybody's into on the NBA and their ratings being low. And they're struggling out there. Not the case, at least by the numbers that we have in front of us as well. So Robert says McGonigal's deal makes Carroll deal look like highway robbery. Well, that's the thing. And in 2 years, McGonigal's salary is going to look like highway robbery. You're getting these young kids for a lot of money, what is today. But the whole idea is you're bypassing that renegotiation and arbitration every 3 years or whatever, and you've got them wrapped up for a long time now till the middle of their careers. So right now it looks like a good deal for McGonigal. in 2-3 years, it's going to be in the team's favor at that point, which is what the Diamondbacks are dealing with Corbin. How long's Corbin Carroll's contract been in effect? 3 years, 4 years now? Gosh, 5 years? How long's he been in the league? But a lot of teams are starting to do this with these young superstars, and it seems like the players are on board on doing it as well. So it is interesting to watch. So when we come back here, we got Uncle Lou joining us. You guys know the routine. He'll be in here. We'll have some fun with him here on this Thursday. Come on back. Main event. And we're back here. Thursdays means this guy joins us. Of course, everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Lou. Veasan, you can find him as a contributor on Veasan. Hit him up at gamblu.com. Of course, at Gamblu on X as well. And Lou, how you doing today?
Doing great, Steve. Happy to be here. Hockey playoffs upon us.
Yes.
College baseball in its in the mid part of the season. I know there's NBA. I just don't give it much attention, nor do I understand much about it, so you won't get that around here. But we have UFC every week as well, and these Thursday weekly shows are great because it gets a chance to share thoughts and ideas.
Absolutely. Well, tell everybody where you're from, where they can find you, what you do, your podcast, all of that fun stuff.
Gamblu.com. My name's Lou Finicaro. I'm a sports handicapper. I network and work with the industry that is sports gaming. You can find out everything you want to know about me on my webpage. I'm happy enough and fortunate enough to have one. As you scroll down, you'll see I have a daily blog. I do podcasts 2 a week. One on Monday is an early look at the opening lines for UFC fights. And then later in the week on Friday morning, I put out my final releases. Last, as you find out about me, you just go to the top band of the webpage. But on the far right corner of the top band of the webpage is the San Xavier Mission tab. And it is, even though it's off to the right, it's probably the most important tab there because we highlight and contribute to the San Xavier Del Bach Mission, which is just south of Tucson here in Arizona, America's or the United States' oldest mission, 1690, 70-something, hundreds of years ago. They're doing great work there. It's a great cause for Arizona. There's a link that goes directly to the mission there on the webpage. And Steve lets me mention it every week, so I have to say thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Get out there, especially in this day and age, right? Everybody's things are tightening up for everybody. So if you're able to help out and share some of your good fortunes around, definitely a cause to consider. They have schools down there and everything as well.
If you're betting $5 on a hockey game, then at least as far as I'm concerned, I got to find $5 or $10 for someone else too. I mean, when you think about it, if you are sitting and thinking about investing in a sporting opportunity, you're probably in fortunate position, and many
hopefully, right?
And many people in fortunate positions already give and have charities. I get that, But here's a good one if you don't.
Absolutely. So, Lou, look, you alluded to. Let's talk NHL in a second. Let's get to
Okay.
because we'll spend a little bit of time on that with playoffs starting this weekend.
Got a lot to say.
Yeah, and it's been a fun end of the season here for them as well. But just really quick, college baseball out there.
Yep.
UCLA finally lost UC Santa Barbara the other night. Number 1 seed for them. Big upset. I do expect them to be number 1 still with the way they've played. But they hadn't lost since like February 14th or February 24th or something to that effect.
Right.
Let me know your philosophy on that. I know I'm high on UCLA, even going into the College World Series. You had them as a team to futures pick earlier.
Yeah.
My opinion is they need to lose going into the regional, super regionals things, just to get that taste in their mouth and kind of recalibrate. Are you on that bandwagon?
Absolutely, I am. I hate a team that goes in guns a blare and hasn't lost in 2 months. That's like the curse, man. You're ripe as a Georgia peach. No, these teams, I prefer a team, and the NHL playoffs are going to exemplify it. I want a team that's had to struggle and a team that plays a certain way. And I can tell you that whether it's UCSB, whether it's Cal Irvine, Cal Fullerton, Fresno, there's West Coast teams can play baseball. Those kids are good. They may not play offensive tackle in the SEC, but they can play baseball. And you got Oregon State, so there's good baseball on the coast. Don't underestimate them, but it's good for UCLA to get their nose bloodied a little bit, because if you're going to try and compete with the SEC, who can easily have a team 10-7 go in and win it all. Absolutely. Because they're beating each other up, you want to get in some dirt fights.
Yeah, no, I mean it was, and then I even take it a step farther. And like I said, I'm going to sound like I'm disparaging Santa Barbara, but I'm not. Well, maybe I am. But I'd rather see them lose to a team like that, a lower. Because if they would have gone and played, I'm just going to throw out like a really good team. Like if they went and played Tennessee, I know different conferences, and lost to 10, it's easy to go, well, we lost to a good team. We'll get them next time. You lose to a team that's technically next tier down from you, I think that wakes you up even more going forward.
Yeah, I think few coaches are going to put a degree on a loss.
Okay.
Because no loss is a good loss, and you can teach from anyone. And that's the point of a loss, even in life. When we lose or get dropped, you got to get up and overcome what the loss was, and that's what the baseball teams are going to have to do.
I mean, you brought up a team, with a not so great record, possibly winning it all. I just want to point out Florida is going on a run right now. They're 27-10, ranked 20th in the country. They've been unranked for a long time.
They're typical too.
And now they're just waking up here, right?
This is just exactly what they do. They have one of the best coaches in the country, Irish kid, Sullivan, I want to say his name is. The dude lives in Omaha. The team's used to being there. And they're the team I was referencing that came into Omaha 10-10 and went to the finals.
Yeah. I was making fun of them. I was like, they don't deserve to be there.
I'm telling you, this SEC is murder. Even though they had surely an off year last year. Let's see what happens this year.
Yeah, so that's just funny. I just wanted to mention that as well.
Anyway, I don't worry about UCLA. They need to get their nose bloodied a little. I like to keep an eye on a little. I mean, Coastal Carolina is a small school.
They're making a run right
big
now.
magic right now. We'll have to keep an eye on them.
They went from 11th to 7th this week.
Yeah.
Schools, you just don't know that much about. Like Georgia Tech's ranked second and has been highly ranked all year long.
ACC, so that tells you something.
Yeah, but it's just out of nowhere, right? For them,
a little bit, yes.
They're North Carolina's right behind them. So
I have a bet on North Carolina.
We're starting to see some movement here as we're getting deep into conference, and of course the Big 12 tournaments out here in Phoenix too. Don't forget about that at the end of May.
They're going to have
Surprise Stadium.
They're going to have it here.
Yeah, Surprise Stadium up there.
The Big 12. That makes sense.
Yeah, Big 12,
Arizona hosts basically.
Basically. Oh, Arizona State. Yeah.
Arizona State hosts.
Arizona being
both
here.
Are in that division.
Yeah, Big 12.
Okay, I don't pay attention to college.
No, yeah. So I mean, if you're a college, that's what I've been telling people. Don't forget. I mean, it's going to be hot. But the whole Big 12 tournament out there. In Surprise.
I'll be watching Passion on Ice.
I know, for hockey, right?
I was telling my wife the last few nights I've got to condition myself to stay up, and they're laughing at me. I said, I'm telling you, because the second hockey game, if it goes to OT,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to be up till 10, 11 at
You're-
night.
and
And
the-
I ain't up that late.
I always think about that too, and then I'm like, man, I'll be awake. Let's just, unless it's a blowout of a game, then you're like, all right, I'm tired, whatever. But generally, they're usually exciting games, so you can just naturally stay up. And speaking of hockey, everything's clinched in terms of playoff teams.
Yep.
Now we still have some, and this is what fascinates me. Like you brought it up off air there at the beginning, and I wanted to bring it up to you. Edmonton Oilers right now are in second place in the Pacific.
Yeah.
They could end up being, the Kings could surpass them
Yep.
and be the second team in the Pacific. I guess they would go to the third if they do. Oh no, they would.
The
possibly
Oilers can be
second.
one or
Yeah,
last.
Yeah, and that's an amazing thing
With
for me
one game
on
left
the last
in
game of the year.
It is an amazing thing.
Fantastic.
And I was talking to Steve off air because it's chapping me because I always have my data. In the past 3 or 4 years, I've used 81 games of data because I've known the structure of the bracket after 81 games. And that's enough for me. The last game, you question half the teams in the league's motivation
That's
anyway.
what I'm playing,
In this case, however, I was chapped because the whole West was undecided last night. I got up this morning, went to my office early,
Yep.
and I got to put in Minnesota, Dallas, and Utah, Vegas, because that is settled. Vegas won the Pacific last night, or whatever conference it is
Pacific.
that they're in.
They're Pacific.
And so the other three teams, the Ducks, the Kings, and the Oilers are all still undecided, so I couldn't build my bracket. And in tournaments, College World Series and the NHL playoffs, they're bracketed tournaments, and I stress this heavily. We have to understand the makeup of the bracket. When it gets close to the regionals, you can project in college which teams are going to eventually face each other as you get to 32, 16, and 8. And in the hockey playoffs, the sides in the East and the West is brutally important. No more so than this year in the West, where everybody wants to try and escape Colorado. Yet
Yes.
all of the teams that have to really be a threat on that side are in that bracket, leaving the other bracket that's unknown, LA, the Oilers, Vegas, etc. It's undecided till tonight, so I can't do my numbers till these games are decided. So I'm a little rankled about that. That said, the East is all decided. I was able to do that work last night. And
Well, before you go into that, I just
Yeah.
want to point out to you, Vegas Knights made a coaching change, 9 games to go, undefeated since that coaching change. I know that means nothing, but they have some serious
Oh, I think
momentum going into the playoffs.
yeah, I think it means more than nothing. And maybe last week I would have indicated that it's nothing because
Well, yeah, last week you were kind of like they were 4
Yeah,
were
yeah.
4-0. Now they tied a couple, but they hadn't lost since he moved in there. They seem to be playing, and I'm a big momentum guy going into the playoffs in hockey. You got to be playing well.
With Vegas, it's really with so many teams, the goaltending.
Yes.
And I don't have my goaltending notes on Vegas, except I know Hill is playing behind a guy right now, and Torts likes
Yes.
the guy. If Torts likes him, I'm like Lavello, man. When you like somebody, I never criticize a coach. They're
Yeah.
there. It's their job and money on the line. So I will say, Torts falls into a great situation. Maybe the players in Vegas feel like they are too, because in the NHL bracket, if you look how Vegas is bracketed, they're bracketed with the Sisters of the Poor, St. John's of Bethlehem, and the Lowriders of northern Wisconsin. I'm telling you, they've got the bracket set up perfectly for them. A team with experience, a team that's been there before. Now they got this coach. They're just starting to play right. I've been anti-Vegas until the last few days.
Yeah. Okay.
But
was
I
just
have to
curious on
try
your
and
opinion.
recognize.
Yeah. So I mean, you're going to the East. That's why I didn't want you to leave the East until we talked about that. But,
Okay.
Going to the East here because I think this is now Colorado Avalanche are the best team in hockey all year long. So I guess, but other than that, this is pretty wide open playoffs coming our way. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how you argue that, especially in this East where you have, you have all kinds of up and coming teams that are kind of young and haven't been there, but
Haven't been there in 19 years.
but have merit. And then you have teams, Carolina and Tampa, that, lo-de-do, just another year for those two juggernauts. And one of them can't get out of their own way in the playoffs because their coach holds a stick so tight. And the other one is a threat because they got the best coach in the whole league, Cooper, in Tampa. The problem with Tampa is, they've just been there so long. Are they ripe for the picking? And their matchup happens to be Montreal.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
At least they don't have another Florida team because that's been their out the last couple of years.
Well, we're only in round one. Let's give it time.
I'm talking about round one. Last year, did they play Florida in the first round?
Yeah, and maybe in the second round the year before.
Yeah, so I mean, they always get stuffed early by playing a Florida. So at least they avoid it in the first round.
Well, it's not that it was the other Florida team; it's the number 1 ranked team or the number 2 ranked team. So they had to. That's kind of what's happening in the West, where the Wild has to play Dallas and the winner has to play Colorado against whoever draws the short stick tonight. Because all these 3 teams playing tonight are trying to avoid Colorado. That's all we can know.
That's interesting choices, right? In coaching and what you have to do.
So I view Montreal at 2-1 as live against Tampa. I view Buffalo as really dangerous at home against Boston. I
agree with that.
Ottawa is really, really dangerous and a team I could see myself maybe liking based on a few things. And I surely like Pittsburgh in the first, even though it's Pittsburgh-Philly, which will make it closer because of the hatred. I don't know that those teams are that close, really.
Yeah, and Philadelphia hasn't been there in a bunch of years.
No,
so.
and the old Broad Street Bullies. I mean, they got a terrible power play, 11.9% lowest of all the playoff teams by
but when they get
9%.
But when they get there, the crowd's going to be yacked. If I can use a term, I don't know what it means.
Yeah, yeah. You still gotta stop pucks and you gotta score a goal or two. Yeah. So anyway, the East wide open. So I look at prices. Ottawa 14-1, juicy. Philly, Pittsburgh. Do I think one of those guys can make a series run, maybe 2? Yeah, but I don't know if we're winning the cup there. I think Montreal could be poised to win a series or 2, as could Buffalo. I hate to overlook Boston, but Boston might be like the Rangers were about 2 years ago, a year ahead of time.
Okay.
They're kind of young and rebuilding, and they've found themselves doing a lot better than they thought, I think.
Yeah, I'm worried about teams like Buffalo that just haven't been there before. I just worry about that going to the playoffs, in hockey against some more. And I know, Boston's young too. But then you're getting that added pressure of you haven't been there in a long time. So the crowd base, the fan base is going to be, and they're playing at home to start. That's the other side of it.
Yeah,
so I'm worried about that.
I would too, except for one thing. Okay. One thing shatters all my worry and makes me actually feel like I'm on a hammock sitting by the side of the ocean with a Corona in my hand. And you know what that is? Lindy Ruff.
Yeah.
Believe me.
I disagree.
This coach took them when they were in last place, and he did something since, and now they're not in last place, and they believe and they have momentum. And
I watched a full game of them recently, and I hadn't seen them playing most of the year, and even I was like, wow, these guys. You could tell a difference in this team, and that they were a well-oiled machine and stuff like that. I was really impressed.
They're
with
young,
them.
They're fast, they play hard. Again, Lindy Ruff, I think he's gonna and in a series, if they have to adjust, they have the coach that I think can get to him to do that. Ruff is a lot like Torts. After a few years, he rubs you the wrong way, and they get rid of him. But right now, he's hanging 10 on the surfboard, and that team believes, and that's a dangerous thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody's mad at him right now.
I can tell you this: anyone that really truly is a hockey lover is so tickled for Buffalo and their fans right now. I know I am. And how great would it be to see him make a run? And like Montreal too. We need some Canadian success.
Yeah, I'm not on board with you.
And
on
maybe
that.
a New Jersey color would be fun too.
Yeah, especially Montreal, Canadian teams, and then Montreal on top of it.
Well, I grew up a Montreal fan, so I have an easy time.
Yeah, they were good when you were growing up.
Seeing them have success.
Yeah, they were good.
They were
when you
dominant. I walked
yeah.
around, and my poop didn't stink. Now it's been, what is it? It was like
100 years. It feels
03
like,
or
doesn't
02,
it? Yeah.
Patrick Waugh.
Yeah, but I'd say Waugh was the last one. He
Yeah.
just got fired by the Islanders. So
Which did the Islanders got their head so far up their gulu, there's a bump between their shoulders.
Yeah,
That was a terrible move.
that was a terrible move with 4 games to go, trying to salvage the
somebody
season that didn't work.
panicked.
Yeah,
Somebody
that's right.
panicked there. Now, don't get me wrong. DeBoer is a good coach. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, but no, they panicked at the wrong time. If they're going to panic, they should have panicked earlier. and
Maybe
gave them
so.
more
Maybe
time,
so.
you know. But yeah, so this is exciting. The West, like you said, we still have things to be decided. Like you said, to avoid the Avalanche as quickly as possible. Avalanche are the favorites here, but there are some teams like the Kings intrigue me, and I don't know why. They can't score to save their lives. They have like, I'm being facetious. They have like 10 regular season wins this year. They just play defense galore, and they can go in there. We've seen them come in as an 8 seed before and win the trophy here.
Yeah, that
years
was
ago.
That was when Jonathan Quick, who just recently retired a few days ago, was a rookie in 02 or 03. And oh, by the way, Kings 25-1. You know I know that number because I told everybody that would listen. The Kings are winning it, and you're going to know Jonathan Quick when you're done. And I got blogs that can prove it from 20 freaking years ago.
Nailed that. Yeah,
that's how long I've been doing this. Now, I will say this. In those 20 years, I haven't nailed another 25-1, I'll be honest with you, but I've had some success at hockey. Yeah. And I can tell you this year, as opposed to heaping money on Tampa and Colorado and expecting them to go far for little return, I might throw a few darts at longer odds, half a unit. Listen, 14-1 for a half unit returns you 7 units. I'm a 1 unit better. Come on. It'll be interesting to see, how do you want to get what my final positions are? That's a great question. Thanks for asking, Steve.
You're welcome.
Gamblu.com on Saturday morning. Now, Friday, I'll have a write-up as to how I work, how to look at things. There may even be a future position up. But Saturday morning before the games start will be my final positions. Why do you wait so long? I always do, especially in hockey, because here's what you're going to see when the season begins. Ottawa, some road team is going to go to a home team. And the home team, game one's going to be minus 170, and they're going to win 3-2. And the next game, they're going to be minus 200. So you're going to get the benefit on the underdog on the road at a great price if you wait, and especially if you wait 10 minutes before the puck drops. Now, I post my positions probably 45 minutes or a half hour before the puck drops, so you got time to go there, see what I think, see what you think, and decide what you want to do. But that's the MO, and that's what'll be written up on Friday. And then for the rest of the playoffs, there'll be daily fodder on the Gamblu.com webpage.
Yeah, so check it out, definitely. And obviously follow them on Twitter as well. At Gamblu as well. If you have questions or if you're, watching it as well, definitely give them a follow there. But it's an exciting time of year.
Yeah, you're going to say, Lou, you took this team against that team?
Well, that's what I was alluding to. That's one of my favorite things, Lou, is when you post something and then just seeing that one guy just shoot right back. Like he's angry at his house. You're like, I do.
I half do that to poke the stick at the bear a little bit, try and get a little reaction.
I guess it does make me laugh a little. But that's coming up Saturday, so it's big time. Follow Lou, of course, and all open there on his website this year, not behind the paywall. So check it out as well. And look, at least it'll, for those of you that aren't big hockey fans going into, this is the most wide open I can remember an NHL playoffs being. Last several years, you're like, okay, these 2 to 3 teams, and one of them does.
Well, but
and everything. Now you can see some runs.
But you're top heavy. If someone could also say, I've never seen it so top heavy.
Yeah.
Meaning you got Colorado here and Carolina and Tampa over here. If you believe that those 3, and then there's a gap, like the odds indicate, if you look at any sports books,
I was looking at it last night,
you can see the 3 of them are here and then the rest are down here. I'm going to go fishing in the deeper waters.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'm not going to, I've been telling you all year long how I want to try and find a way to beat Colorado. Now, I don't want to be a hypocrite. Here, I do have to say this. In the Masters, and I think I tweeted this out, day 4 of the day 3 of the Masters, before round 4, I took Rory to win the tournament.
You did tweet this out, yeah.
Okay, good. In a parlay with the Colorado Avalanche to win the Cup. The Avalanche at the time were like 3-1 or something, maybe, I think. It's posted. Anyway, Rory won. That bet's alive. I now have Colorado at 5-1. Okay, so that's a personal bet that I have over here. That's not going to be injected into the Gamblu webpage or the results. I don't do that. What goes in to the webpage and is recorded is how we will do things. Should I, during the regular season, decide to take the Dallas Stars minus 1.5 plus 130 to Colorado to win I could do it then. But what I'm saying is what the website will possess will be everything that's given on the.
Yeah.
So
So
I don't want to be a hypocrite if somebody hears me say, "Well, I got 5-1 on Colorado."
I know they're gonna be like, "Well, you didn't tell us that."
You dirty rat.
I don't know if it was Twitter or where I saw it at, but I did see it somewhere, so you did have it out there. But yeah, no, I know the website's where you want to be for the official positions, and sometimes you tweet out your personal stuff and things like that. So that's why I say follow Gamblu or add Gamblu on X as well from that side. So. Look, I'm excited for this weekend on Saturday and everything. It's going to be a great weekend of playoff hockey and getting started with everything else happening in the sports world, including UFC, Lou.
Oh, yeah, we have a UFC card this week coming to us from a cocky city that didn't make the playoffs, Winnipeg. But we'll be able to talk a little bit about fighting in Winnipeg when we come around the corner, too.
So we got to talk about some fights from last weekend, a UFC numbered event, some big fights,
How'd we do last week?
I don't know about controversy, but I tell you what, Lou, let's take our break real quick here, and then that way we can come back and just go through the UFC with no interruption. We'll look back to last week on a few of the fights, look ahead, of course, to this weekend from Winnipeg, Canada. Burns, and is it Mallet or Malot? Because he's Canadian.
Mike Mallet.
I thought it was Mallet. I wanted to make sure.
Or Malott.
Malott. There we go. Yeah, because I was like, I think there's an
I think it's Mike Malott.
But we'll talk about it. Come on back, folks. The main event with Uncle Lou here on Thursday. We're back here, and Lou, if you don't mind me saying this, you just told me your 33rd wedding anniversary here. We got to give you congrats for that, my man. That's outrageous.
Thank you so much. I will say this: I'm the lucky one. I have a great wife who's a great gal. 33 years she's put up with me, longer than that because we obviously dated for a while and knew each other for. She knew the previous. Lou Finicaro, the one that nobody sees anymore. Anyway, a long story short, hello, Christine, my wife, happy 33rd, and we're going to go somewhere and have a little dinner tonight with my son and my mother-in-law.
Oh, excellent. I hope you don't mind me bringing that up on air, but
No,
that's
it's all
something to
good.
celebrate, man, right there, because I couldn't imagine 33 years.
She's, I mean, listen, man, this is mostly men tuning in here. How hard is it to live with a man? I mean, come on. She's done it. She's done great. She's had patience
Yeah.
with me. I'm a lucky guy.
That's why I live with myself and a dog and 2 kids, Lou,
Yeah,
for that reason.
I'm
so.
saying.
Let's get into UFC from last week, UFC 327 from Miami. Got to start you off here first with the draw that happened. Chris Padilla and Markel Medeiros.
Oh, yes, sir.
Reason why we're bringing that up for 2 reasons. 1, a draw, but then 2, obviously a local kid there, Medeiros, in this fight.
Yeah. And so
MMA Lab.
this was a close fight. It had a point deduction to Padilla's favor. The point deduction, I think, forced the decision to be, at the worst scenario, Padilla in a draw. Okay? If there was something other than that, then I believe it should have been as it was originally announced. Padilla, a winner 28-27 in 2 cards, and then a draw in the other card. And for the UFC to wait 40 minutes or 45 minutes and then change the result of the fight is astonishing. For the books to uphold it is also astonishing, because a lot of times those grade right away and nothing, and you're in and out. For us, a guy that had Markel Medeiros at a plus 160, I go from a loser of a unit to a no bet. And so I'm tickled as I can be.
You're happy.
And it's one of the times, and it happens 50-50, I get the result of a bad call there in my favor. Doesn't happen all the time, but it happens once in a while.
Yeah.
And so that kind of changes the focus of the night a little bit. And anytime you don't lose, you win.
Well, absolutely, from the gambling perspective, but I just sat there and questioned, because I didn't realize they had changed it. I was at another event. I didn't have the sound on, and then I was like, well, later on, I was like, wait, what just happened? So I had to look into it later. To me, it just seems a little shady, though. I mean,
they changed the decision. They didn't change the cards. So what they said was that it was read incorrectly.
Okay.
So there was no, hey, we got, and so Padilla has filed a protest, wants to go back and have some looks at that. And if they awarded him the win, I wouldn't be surprised. He won the fight. I mean, I had Medeiros, but I don't think Medeiros won. Yeah. It was the point deduction that was foundational in Medeiros not winning the fight. If there's no point there, that's a split decision either way. I live with it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I wanted to get you on that. 'Cause like I said, I was listening to it, unfortunately, with no sound all night. So it's kind of like trying to figure out what happened.
Well, you watched it then. Who'd you thought?
No, I thought Padilla did it.
Yeah, okay.
As well.
Good.
I thought
you
it was
saw
his.
the same fight I
And that's
did.
why, like I said, for me, it was like 2 hours later.
I thought Medeiros was.
When I realized it, because I saw the payouts. Because I went with you with the MMA Lab kit. I got him at plus 130 last Thursday.
So you're thinking for a couple hours you're a loser.
Yeah,
you look at the
then
card
all of a
and it's
sudden
like,
I'm
whoa.
like, where did this money come from? I'm like, did I hit something I didn't know about? That's
well,
a
then
big
you
odd.
found out.
Yeah, that's how I found out. So going back and reading, it was kind of interesting. So,
a pleasant surprise.
Kind of one of those things where it's like, man, if I had the sound on, it would make more sense to me as I go on, right? But obviously that was a
you
big
either got to watch the fights or you got to drink Chardonnay and eat cheese, Steve. I don't know.
I was at the Rattlers game. We cover that. So I was watching indoor football, so I had to pay attention to that while watching fights. What do you think of Medeiros, right? MMA Lab kid here. What do you think of him in this fight?
He couldn't fire. He was hesitant, slow, and couldn't fire. He needed to go fire. Padilla would. That's the difference in the fight. Padilla walked him backwards, and Medeiros was a little bit hesitant.
I put him down as timid, is what I.
Yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't firing. I haven't talked to Coach this week. We talk about his fighters always after the fight, never before.
Yeah.
So I don't, when I pick his brain, I'm picking his brain about guys, especially in the 45-35 division that he's faced before. That's where I get my best information, because he's had to prepare his fighters for those guys, and I can get great insight in those guys by communicating with him.
I have my next question is Aaron Pico and Patricio Pitbull here in this fight, featherweight, the last prelim fight here. Unanimous decision here for Pico. One, the tattoo on Pitbull's back drove me nuts this whole fight. But two, does it change your opinion on Pitbull and the way he fought that fight against Pico?
He's 38. I was up.
That's what I'm
I
wondering.
was up putting charcoal on the grill and doing. I didn't regard that fight as a women's fight, but I almost did.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I expected more out of that fight, and I was kind of disappointed it didn't end up being anything.
Pico's advantage is wrestling. He needed to stay away from the power of a 38-year-old featherweight or fly. Would they fight at lightweight? Featherweight. Yeah, so I mean, I can't argue Pico's tactics. He was the one that should win the way we thought he should win, and that's what he did.
I mean, this was an over 1.5 fight. Now, it was minus 188 last Thursday night. I know it got to 200 something right before the fight. I mean, that's the easiest 1.5 you could have gotten on.
It was very, very easy. Did I have it? No. I don't see them all. I'm trying to just find three or four of them.
No, I was just curious because Pitbull gets a lot of play, and I know he's older. To me,
he's
almost
probably
looked,
gone now.
That's
He's
what I was going to ask
broken
you.
orbital and his nose. He's all
to me, it
jacked up.
just looked like he was just holding on for a couple extra paydays, or at least a payday here before he knows his career's over. That's what I got out.
38-year-old heavyweight, you got 5 years of career left because you never lose your power and might. But a 35 or 38-year-old in the case of Pitbull. Pitbull is 38 years old, featherweight, 145. That you're 50.
Yeah.
You can't. He's facing guys 25 years old, faster, quicker, leaner, longer, the whole bit. So you got to respect Pitbull because he's been an icon for 15 years plus, but he's at the end of it.
Yeah. Cub Swanson and Landwehr. I wanted to ask you about this one. First round KO, 406 into it. Swanson gets that win. If I remember correctly, last week you said just watch this one. You weren't going to put anything on it. But I want to know what you think about Cub Swanson going in there and getting that KO 4 minutes into this thing.
Yeah, what I realized is that they picked Nate Landwehr because he was just perfectly made for Swanson. And I doubted whether I didn't want to invest in a 42-year-old featherweight that I didn't know could move and strike like that. He came out focused. His little kids and his beautiful wife were in the audience. It was a beautiful night. And make no mistake about it, Nate the Train was there to spoil it. All he wanted to do was knock Cub's head off. The problem is he just comes in wailing. and Nate the Train is a great show because that's what the UFC wants in a fighter. They don't want Pico that's going to take a smaller man down and just control him on the ground. That's not what they want.
Yeah, and then you had Johnny Walker. You said last week, he was plus 124, at least
Loved
on
it.
Thursday. You loved it. Ends up losing that split decision here to Dominic Reyes. Change your opinion on Johnny Walker at all?
No. Listen, I took an underdog. He loses by split decision. I did my job. I did everything I could.
Yeah.
I think the judges got it right. Okay. I wish it was otherwise, but it is what it is.
Well, you said last week, don't miss that fight, and I agree with you on that. That was a fun one.
I would have never guessed it goes to decision.
Then you got the one. This was the fight of the night in my eyes here, man. I had so much. This happened right about halftime of the Rattlers game. Curtis Blades and Josh Hokett. Yeah. I didn't even care that I was rooting for Blades. I didn't even care I was going to lose it. Those two guys just stood there. You could tell they ran out of energy, but they just sit there and just pound on each other's faces for a couple minutes and then take a break and everything. President Trump stood up and gave him a standing ovation afterwards. I enjoyed this fight a lot. Hokett ended up getting the win there. Thoughts between these two fighters, Hokett, his future, even Blades, and what you thought of, I don't think negatively on Blades for losing that fight.
I think very few heavyweights stand with Blades in that fight. Hokett did, and he shatters the opinion of him I had previous to that fight. Now I know, besides being a jagoff, the guy is a good fighter and he's tough and he can move and he's got will. Now he's turned around quickly after 3 fights with 3 bonuses. The guy's made $350K in less than a year in the UFC. They're throwing him into the White House card to give him a favorable matchup against the slow as a glacier Derek the Black Beast Lewis. Is Hokett going to just pummel Lewis on the White House grounds and he's going to have the flag on his head, and they're going to carry him out on a chariot,
Well,
the whole bit.
He had it in this fight, and then I think they announced the White House fight after this fight, right?
Right after.
Yeah. So I mean, it was like I was like, did he know? But that might be Hoka usually wears that stuff anyway. But
No, the UFC knew. They're just
Yeah.
saying, listen, this
Yeah.
is what we need to happen here. And, it was a very, very close decision. And
It was-
Hoka
they were
happened to
just-
one. Oh, imagine that. We've been talking about this now for a while. Way more money and projection in Hoka moving on than the leg humper. We knew that. I knew that. Okay.
it was amazing. They were literally standing there, and one of them would just start pummeling on the other guy's face, and the other guy would just take it, and then like move back for a second, and then he'd start wailing on the other guy's face.
Yeah.
And he'd just stand there and take it, and it was just the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean,
it was
you
so
gotta,
much entertainment.
you got to go back to Bigfoot Silva and Mark Hunt to get a heavyweight battle like that.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Azamat was a big favorite in that fight, the co-main event against Paulo Costa. I have him written down at minus 200 right there at the fight. Ends up losing it to Costa here, round 3 KO. Azamat, I don't remember what you thought about him, but I know he was a big favorite.
I was
Paint your opinion?
undecided all week, but fight day, I was talking to a fellow handicapper that does what I do in the UFC, and he mentioned that he just loved Costa. And I started looking at it closer, and I thought, you know what, maybe I will. And so personally, I took a little taste and was happy with the result, but I have to give it to him. It wasn't I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it until he mentioned it, and then I started looking at it and thinking, maybe I can see it clearer now, but it wasn't my pick. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it was. I mean, big favorites go down. I'm 2-1 favorite, but when they go down like that, it's to me, it's kind of a shocking.
6-4-1 for the favorites last week.
Really?
So we're at 70.5%, down from 75%. So a dog is coming here and there.
6-4-1. Wow. Well, then we got to talk about this one. Your boy Yuri and Olberg. This was so just the Rattlers game Monday. We're getting our stuff together to go down to the press conference. I have it on. Lou, I leaned down, loaded up my computer, closed it, put it in my bag, looked up, and this fight was over. And then I see everybody ripping Yuri in his preparation for this fight and everything afterwards. Everything with Olberg. So
Ripping Yuri for his
yeah,
preparation.
just going into this fight, they just felt like some people didn't like his preparation. I guess going into this.
Well, those people are ignorant.
Are they idiots?
Yeah, they're
Well, you tell
ignorant.
me. Yeah.
No,
Tell us.
what happened was Yuri was confronted with a maimed opponent, and whatever caused his hesitation. Now he was still kicking legs, trying to back him up. Whether he was overthinking how he was going to try and get him out of there, I don't know. But I do know this. He wasn't thinking mercy and, this guy's hurt and I don't want to hurt him. He was not thinking that. I know that's what he's saying, but that I don't care what he
I
says.
think that's what people are kind of jumping on.
Yeah,
That he wasn't aggressive enough because of knee
he was
injury,
kicking
right?
his leg and backing him up.
Yeah.
And he walked into a left. I mean,
ACL tear or something.
that's
correct?
that's
Or
all
knee injury?
Olberg
Yeah.
and not Yuri,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think that Olberg shows me a ton, and Yuri shows me wrinkles and flaws in his game, and so that was a big miss there for him.
Yeah, and I'm always really impressed with a guy that has a serious injury and still able to fight and then eventually get the win in a fashion and stuff like that. It always intrigues me a
And
little
now
bit.
he'll go have ACL surgery.
Yeah.
We won't see him for a
For
year.
a while, yeah. They came out and said that it wasn't as bad as they
I
thought
hope
it
not.
was.
I hope not.
So hopefully it's a quicker return. But yeah, so that was the main event there in last week's fight in UFC 327 from Miami as well. And then this week, like you said, we go up to Canada here this weekend for this one. This is just a regular UFC fight night. 5 p.m. Mountain Time is the main card. So an earlier one here this week as well, Lou. So
yeah, 2 p.m. for the prelim.
Yep, for the prelims. So you tell me about the prelims. I'm not going to sit here and go through these with people that I don't know and waste everybody's time. So you tell me if there are any to watch here, what we should pay attention to for any of these prelim fights.
Yeah, we'll start with Siraj and Giannis. Very little clue. I'll watch and learn. LeBlanc and Valentin. LeBlanc is a Canadian debuter. Valentin 0-3 in the UFC. The only good news here is it's 185 pounds and somebody could get knocked out. Then we'll go to Vologden, and he fights a guy named Castaneda. Now, here's one I'm interested in. Vologden's a little sawed-off Russian, 25 years old, 9 years younger than Castaneda, but Castaneda has got a tremendous amount of experience. He's 4 inches the taller man, which doesn't happen often for Castaneda. He's going to have a reach advantage. He's a switch hitter. He's got great wrestling. And what's his price right now, Castaneda Vologden?
I apologize. You caught me slapping there. Give me 1 minute here.
So all I'll say is earlier in the week, Castaneda was a plus 120. And it might have even...
He's minus 130 right now.
He's minus 130. So this line has switched into Castaneda's favor. I believe it should have. I'm asleep at the wheel. I have not released it. And if I did anything, I'd chase it now. But I think I'll just wait and let it be. But I was at a plus price. I was going to tell you, get on Castaneda now. But I do think he's the deserved minus 130 favorite in this fight. Next one, Raposo Nascimento, 125-pound men that grapple. Next page, please. We'll go to one, and this one is a couple of gals, but each of these 2 gals weigh 125 pounds. Aldridge ships in from U.S. to fight Horth, the Canadian girl, both meaner than a junkyard dog. These gals chew on glass to practice. It's going to be a great brawl. You see that the total in this fight is
over 2.5, minus 520 to the over.
So again, we're going to take this one. We haven't hit this in a while, but I'm going to take it fight to end in split or majority decision because we know it's going to decision. I don't think one of these girls fends off the other. I think Aldridge is live. The problem is she's shipping in from America to fight the Canadian in a fight that's probably going to decision. Home cooking maybe takes us off Aldridge, but puts us towards that split or majority decision.
By the way, if you're interested in that, Aldridge is plus 130 right now as well. So
down
right
from plus 250.
Okay, so money's really falling down on her side.
She's coming on her side, and I believe it should. Horth ain't anything special. Then we got another Kroden against Zeleniakova, a Russian against a Canadian. Again, another Canadian advantage fight. Then the main event in the prelims is Bozer against Serikam, Gökhan Serikam, who's a Turkish fighter fighting out of Belgium. 265 pounds, 35-year-old dude. He mostly a grappler, wrestler, slow, making his debut in the UFC. Bozer, a Canadian, 34, going to be a little smaller than him. He'll weigh in at 255 or so. Used to fight at light heavyweight at 205. He went from heavyweight, had a hard time, down to light heavyweight, left the UFC for a couple of years, found himself back at heavyweight, and now he's competing in a heavyweight fight. We'll get Bozer's best in this fight. He's an underdog, so I will tell you take Bozer in this fight as an underdog because I think he's in a really, really good position. He knows what's ahead of him. He's been here. He's left it. Now he wants it back. I think he's going to be in a really good position.
Plus 130 right now here on Thursday, 9:49 a.m. Phoenix time.
Yeah,
just so people know.
In Vegas he's 140 at all the hotels in Vegas. So which doesn't help us at all if you're in FanDuel or DraftKings. You're getting 130.
Perfect. And then we got of course, main events here. 2 p.m. is when they kick off. Starts off with Dennis Bazooka and Barbosa here.
Yeah, Bazooka is a guy that's dropping from 55 to 45, so this one always means I got to watch the cut. He's going to be 3 inches taller. He's about the same age as this debuter, and this debuter is a freaking rabid mad dog finishing machine. And so it's interesting they put Bazooka up next to him, especially having to drop weight. If Bazooka looks anywhere near compromised, actually, if Bazooka looks his best, Mauricio Barbosa's a parlay leg. But if Bazooka looks compromised during the weight cut at all, Mauricio Barbosa inside the distance kind of a play could be something you consider. This is the only fight on the card that I really think is a mow down.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 500 favorite, Barbosa is. Over unders 1.5, minus 175 to the under right now. So people aren't even. So that's going to move if Bazooka goes in there and looks like he's struggling to cut that weight. You're going to see that number go even worse for that under. I'm assuming by what you said as well. So be ready for that, I guess, right? For the weigh-ins. And that's why you listen to About Business podcasts on Friday morning.
Yeah, we don't broadcast till after weigh-ins are over.
Yes.
We watch all that.
So you'll see all that and that. You got Moises here against Gage Young here. Brazil, United States fighting lightweight bout. Next.
Yeah, 25-year-old scrapper Gage Young, 1-1 in the UFC, lost to a decent fighter. He beat a guy named Mahashate. He opens a plus 110. Now he's minus 120 or so. He's a very, very slight favorite.
Minus 135.
His advantage over Moises is that Moises is 31 and Young is 25. So 6 years equates to numeric advantage in the UFC when you're talking fights. But Moises has tremendous depth of experience, and he's been in with the elite. If Gage Young can beat Moises, it means not that Gage Young is really great, because I don't think he is. It means that Moises is done. And I don't think he's done. I think he's looked bad against the elite of the division, but this is a guy he can handle. And for that reason, I like Moises based on his UFC experience and level of competition faced here.
Yeah, plus 114 right now for him. Over under 2.5, minus 195 to the over.
Yeah,
right
with
now
a dog,
well.
I just watched that number. Maybe you can get it to plus 120 or so. We'll have to see. I know as I'm looking at my numbers here, 115 is the best number I see right now. So you might as well take it now. But Thiago Moises as a plus price is a good position.
Perfect. Then we got a women's flyweight here. Yasmin Judovicius and Karine Silva here battling it out here in this flyweight. No shocker, over under 2.5, minus 280 to the over. 310 favorite here for Yasmin.
Yeah, Jazz is coming off a beat down at the hands of Manon Fiorot, the French fighter in her last fight. But she's bigger, she's taller, she's stronger, she's more experienced, but she's 37 and Karine Silva's 32. Most people think Jazz is just going to roll over Karine Silva. I don't think so. I think Silva's more competitive here than that, and Silva plus the points might be a consideration. But again, I'm going to have to tread lightly here because it's risky business in Canada betting against a Canadian fighter, and Jasmine is the Canadian queen of MMA. So I don't know if I'll invest in that fight or not.
Especially with the Brazilian on the other side.
I would have to take Karine plus the points and hope that it was a tight fight, and I think I can garner better value with Hoth and Aldridge.
Yeah, I mean, just to tell everybody now, the points are 3.5, minus 110 to the minus 3.5, plus 3.5 is minus 120 for this fight. So what does that mean to us, Lou, for those?
That means it's
confused.
a pick 'em if you want to take the points.
Okay, so put your hands up and hope for the best, right, after you place it.
Yeah, I don't. It's an easy fight. I'm going to look elsewhere.
Yep, Mandel Nalo and Herbert battling it out here. Lightweight bout, a Canadian and English fighter here battling it out.
Canadian debuter in with a famous TriStar Canadian gym.
A debuter is the third fight from the from the top fight here. A debut guy, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And so why would they give him that position? Well, they like him. They like the gym. They asked that gym who their top guy was. They said this guy's tended to falter under the bright lights, but they're giving him the chance, and they're giving him a perfectly matched person. Now this person, Jai Herbert, coming in from England, has to travel, has to fight him in his backyard, is chinny, but he's got UFC experience and he's been in with a higher caliber of players. So there we have it, a 37-year-old Englishman against a 36-year-old debuting Canadian. Which way we going to go? I think you go Nalo, because this is a manicured fight for him to look good, and the UFC to not only boomerang in Canada, but use him in a future fight. I think this is a setup fight. And for that reason, I released Nalo on the digital and on my webpage Tuesday.
Yeah, the over-under on this is 2.5, and the under 2.5 is minus 160. also going into this fight. Then you got
They-
Kyler. Oh, go ahead.
They want to get the crowd fired up.
Fired up for the last two here. Kyler Phillips, United States against the Canadian Charles Jourdain here, bantamweight bout.
Yeah, Jourdain on fire lately, fast, quick, can grapple, and arrives with momentum fighting in his home country against a kid in Kyler Phillips that trains here at the MMA lab. He's lost his last two to competent competition. Phillips is a dynamo for 6 minutes, but then has found a way to slow down later in fights. I think he's seen some adjustments in lifestyle lately. He has a child. I think his adjustment in lifestyle over the last couple 2-3 years may pay off here. This should be a really competitive fight.
Perfect there. Right now, Jourdain, the Canadians, minus 148. Over under, by the way, is 2.5, minus 188 to the over. And then Phillips is plus 124 coming into this fight, as you said, from the MMA lab up there in
Phillips
North
is
Phoenix.
beaten better. We'll see if he brings his best. He's going to be tough to beat, whether it's in Canada or whether it's in Timbuktu.
Striker?
His nickname's the Matrix, so he does cartwheels and can do anything.
Does all that stuff, yes. Then, of course, the main card here, welterweight bout to finish up the night. Gilbert Burns from Brazil and Mike Malott from Canada here. Welterweight fight. Tell us about this, Lou.
Malott, bigger guy, younger guy, has had main event opportunities before and failed. He's run out of gas before against Neil Magny. Now they've built him back up. He's the figurehead for Canadian MMA. They give him this main event slot against a 39-year-old guy, and Gilbert Burns did his best fighting at 155. Now that he's 39, he fights at 170, and he's lethal. He's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu savant, has great striking, tough as nails, enters having lost his last 3, and he doesn't take kindly to losing. This dude's a world-class talent. And this price on this fight is way wider than it should be. Burns is liver than what this price is saying.
All right, now Burns is plus 230.
So that line has come way down.
I was wondering.
Malott was minus 510 on Monday, Tuesday.
Minus 285 right now.
So money has come in on Burns at that great price, as it should have.
Yeah. Interesting enough, over-under on this fight, 2.5. Minus 105 to the over, minus 125 to the under.
Yeah, I love the over in that. I'll probably look at DraftKings, see something like fight starts round 3, because I'll pay a little more, but all I got to do is get through 2 rounds there, and I think that fight goes into the 4th round, let alone the 3rd.
Yeah, 5-rounder, right?
Yes, sir.
Going
Scheduled.
on that. So yep. So I just find it interesting when they split, especially on a 5-round fight, 2.5, and then they have it. Obviously minus 125 is the favorite there for the under right now.
I think there's a wide body of people that think Malott's going to just go out and knock Burns out.
Are they Canadian? Does the Canadian attack the market?
No, they're 35 years old and younger.
Yeah. No, I was just asking if the Canadians. I don't know if they contribute. Like a lot of times on the East Coast, you'll see guys. East Coast fighters
Canadian,
and stuff, they'll run it. They'll run the lineup early in the week. And
English
stuff.
money will move fights.
Yeah.
Even some Chinese money will move fights. Aussie money will move fights.
Yeah, I know they will.
Canadian money a little maybe. I mean, what you'll see for sure is money moving towards Canadians. I mean, that's the better though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course.
Realizing
right.
this is gonna. I mean, if you just blindly bet every Canadian on this card, you're probably gonna win money.
You'll lose some fights, but you'll win the units.
I don't know. I'll tell you next week what you'll do.
6-4-1 last week, huh? Favorites were.
Yes.
So that's actually probably the best fight of the year in terms of.
No, there was a 6-6-1.
Was there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's nice when they get even, and I kind of felt that last week. Like I said, I didn't have the sound on those, so it was a little different. But I kind of felt that last week that was like an even, fun card last week. Hopefully we get that this week. At least it's lining up that way.
We sure hope so. We need dogs because I haven't taken advantage of the dogs in the previous cards the way I should have.
Yeah, so it's early in the season. You got to warm up, right? Got to stretch a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm not killing myself, but I'd like to be Bulk business is down like 4 units, so
Yeah.
I'd like to be up a little, and we will be soon enough.
So how's your Saturday going to go? You're going to get up. You're going to put your NHL releases out. Games are starting that day. Multiple TVs going on here.
Yeah.
We have the hockey games on in the UFC.
Honestly, I'm on Friday, so today I'm going to go back to the office, do what I can,
Yeah.
but I can't do tomorrow morning. It's Winnipeg, and I think Winnipeg is on Central Time, and so
Yes.
that means that the weigh-ins will be 7 a.m. here. So before 7 a.m., and I'm up a good deal before 7 a.m., I'll know who the hockey bracket what the hockey bracket looks like for the West, and I'll complete my data and get that hockey done. Then I'll watch the weigh-ins, then I'll do the bout business, and then I'll go to the NHL Network, watch their specials for each side just to make sure I take in all the information that I want. And then Friday I'll postulate what happens on Saturday. By Saturday, I just spit out the releases in hockey. The bout business was posted the day before, and then I actually get to undertake some
Enjoy
research
it.
by watching these games.
Enjoy it, right? Have some fun with that out there. So Lou joins us every Thursday, of course. NFL drafts next Thursday, but Lou will be coming in and joining us as well. So it'll be fun times. I'm looking forward to your breakdown on the mock drafts next week, Lou.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the mock drafts, and we'll talk about that next week. I'm glad we didn't pollute any airtime this week on
I
it.
can't stand this time of year. Lion season.
There's nothing
and
to
I
talk
can't
about.
stand it. It's
There's just
ridiculous.
nothing to talk about.
Well, I always tell people, like, when the number one draft picks, only like 65 or 70% of them don't make their second contract with the first team they're drafted by. Most of them are bust, so I don't see why people get generally excited about the draft picks too often. Because most of them fail, and then they're 3-4 years down the line. But I'm a poo-pooer on that stuff.
Well, this year you got Vegas making the first pick, and the difference in Vegas making the first pick is that it's Brady's pick.
Yep.
So now you got somebody to blame if this one goes wrong.
And it's going to go quarterback, it looks like.
Oh, we know who it is,
Yeah.
so we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. So Lou will be back next week. We'll keep it rolling here. Come and join us tomorrow morning, 8 to 10 a.m. We'll get you ready for Suns game tomorrow night. Of course, the weekend as well. Busy weekend, as you know, NBA, NHL, UFC. Woo-wee. See you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great one.